I'm talking about my boy Bunk Suit, Mr. Kevin Warren himself, man. We've been saying on this show since he got hired a year and a half ago, and before he became official a year ago, when Ted Phillips officially stepped down, what does this nigga do? We've never known because he doesn't give us much. I call him TED Talk Kevo because every time you talk to him, he speaks in TED Talk. He talks like a businessman. He talks like a CEO. Super nice guy. He goes out of his way to greet the media, especially black media. Definitely appreciate it. But I didn't know what is this place? And we have seen everything in just little changes with how it's been since he's gotten there. I've said this many times that since I've been covering the team, over the last year, I've seen a shift in staff. There wasn't that many black people there. Now I have to say staff has to be at least 50%, and it might actually be more. It might be 60-40 black people, and I think they have fully locked that down. They've been more professional, sending the PJ, not just for Ben Johnson. They sent the PJ for Mike McCarthy just to interview him and stuff like that. That should just be common sense, a commonplace for a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar franchise. These are big things for the Bears, and we've seen that he's, from what I get now, his position is he's the mediator between, not the mediator, but I guess the mouthpiece, the middleman between George McCaskey and Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles does his job and says, yo, Kevin, I need this. This is how much it's going to cost. And then Kevin goes to George. This is how much it's going to cost. And George listens to Kevin. And this is the first example of that where it actually went down. And Kevin Warren said in his press conference, it wasn't anything that had to battle George down. I told him how much it costs to get Ben. George said, do it. And we're going to get to George McCaskey in just a minute. But I feel real confident now about that there will be shovels in the ground this year for the new stadium, whether it is in the Memorial Campus area where Soldier Field is at, or whether it's in Arlington Heights. I do finally believe that it's going to get done, and it's going to be a state-of-the-art type stadium. And I feel very confident that going forward in free agency, that if you might need to overpay for some of these people, but if they're at prime time positions, that they're going to get it done. And so I really feel more confident about Kevin Warren's place in the front office after this coaching search and just really I guess like the order of the front office, the pecking order of front office. We didn't know. It sounded like Ryan Poles had his soul taken after Eberflus got fired and after the press conference after the season was over. But now it feels like this actual alignment and people have their roles and they know how to do their roles. Mikey, what did you think about what Kevin Warren said in his press conference? And do you feel any more confident about his place and what he actually does in the franchise?
Yeah, I had text y'all, kind of once they locked him in, locked Ben Johnson in, I said, pause. I said, Kev is swinging dick up in Hallis Hall. Like, because to get George McCaskey to go ahead and sign off on paying a first-time head coach, anywhere between $13 to $15 million a year for a duration of 5 years, do the math. That's never ever been done. To get George McCaskey to say, hold on, we're going to switch up some of this food in the press box. And, Scott, I know you've mentioned it before that you were like, wait, hold on. Like the first year he was there, they kind of made just those little changes.
Yeah, niggas used to get them little wings from Jules. Not to have a problem with wings from Jules. Them joints is hard with some Hawaiian bread. But I don't want to see that at the game. They step it up from there.
Even just the the report that Courtney Cronin had, we've known for a while that they've done kind of the sending candidates, just regular charter, regular flights. And now that they were going to go ahead and send that private jet, it's all about how you do business. And I think that's where Kevin Warren falls in. This is somebody that has experience in doing that. This is somebody that has negotiated one of the largest mergers, in the Big Ten, and switching and getting teams to join the Big Ten and getting all of the TV deals and all of that stuff. So this is somebody that knows what he's doing when it comes to doing things at a super high level, and the Bears are not used to it. I think this week he also kind of like all three of them. Ben Johnson, obviously, it's our first time really, hearing from him. Everybody came off personable, and they felt like as far as Ryan, and Kevin, it felt like a weight was lifted off their shoulders when they spoke. Ryan was, cracking a little bit more jokes, like everything's good once you get that bad bitch, like once you hit, it's tough sledding when you fighting in those DMs and you trying to get her, but once you hit, it's like, oh, I'm good. And that's how you can see how Kevin and Ryan were talking. And I think Kevin really kind of opened up a little bit more this week on Wilder and Sylvie when he spoke on Wednesday in regards to the stadiums. And he kind of basically said, like, they asked him, like, Sylvie had asked him, like, let's be real, like, why not just do it in Arlington? George Halas has always wanted it in Arlington Heights. He always envisioned that. It's something that they've been talking about since the 70s and for a long time. And he's like, we own the land. And he's like, he kind of said, he's like, dude, we had like tax issues that we had to navigate. Like, there was shit that we had to handle in Arlington Heights before we could even move forward. And that we seen was just resolved in November. So, like, I think we're getting closer to them announcing, yes, Browns will be in the shovel. Hey, Nikhil, put that comment up. The Red Sox, hey, bro.
The Red Sox
I have not. It's been a minute since I've gotten my hair braided. I haven't gotten a taper. I'm woofing right now. Send me some of that MSG money, my G. But what is it? You got the Cash App. What is it? But
hit the Cash App.
So like, I think now, like, we will see shovels being in the ground. I think it eventually will be in Arlington Heights, just because that is where they where they own the land. I think the city is going through a lot right now. There's a fiscal cliff for many for the CTA coming up. You got people going to Springfield asking for funding for CPS, everything. I just don't see that funding becoming available for $1 billion organization. Arlington Heights is going to happen, but as far as Kevin Warren, you have to give him you have to give him his respect. I know a lot of people don't like him. He is very he does give off the vibes of a politician when he speaks, but listen, those are the games that you play. So I give kudos to him, because this deal does not happen unless he goes into George McCaskey's ear and says, hey, this is the guy we want. Ryan has vetted it. We've all sat down and interviewed with him. You've seen he's been impressive. This is what it's going to command. We have, we had the number 1 overall pick last year. We have this, quote unquote generational talent. We know that we have a guy at quarterback. We're embarking on getting whether it's some funding, help from the state, or going ahead and investing in the property that we purchased in Arlington Heights. We're getting ready to put the shovel in the ground and build a stadium. We need to start acting like it's 2025 and a big time organization that we are, and being able to get George to switch up, that's huge, because for all of us here, for me, you, Dante, Sean, Alex, we've never seen that from this organization.
Definitely, man. Dante, what's your feelings on TED Talk Kevo? Has he gotten you any more confident in what he's doing?
I mean, yeah, we might have to change his name, bro. Like he's once we get the shovels in the ground, then we can officially say, okay, Kevin, you've come here and done, pretty much everything you have been asked to do. Obviously, the football side of it is more Ryan Poles, but in terms of Kevin Warren, I think he's really delivering in the fact that we all wanted Kevin Warren to come in and take, pretty much all of the responsibility away from George. I understand Ted was the figurehead, but we all know, we've said this for years. This team goes how George wants it to go. You feel me? Like, we've all known that and accepted that. And so when Kevin Warren came in and they actually hired a football guy, and he said, I'm a fan, I'm not a football guy. When he said that lets you know that Kevin Warren was the football guy. So we expected Kevin Warren to handle football business. And we were disappointed with the Eberflus thing, but right now we've seen him get them to turn the tide in a time when they typically wouldn't do it. This was the same old Bears. Eberflus would have coached out the season, and then we'd have been sitting here waiting for them to make a decision. Whereas it seemed like this is something that they knew from jump who they wanted. Like you said, they wanted them last offseason. They had the back channel conversations. Poles this guy, Albright, right? That's his boy, ain't it?
Albert Breer.
Albert Breer, yeah. Breer, had made the comments about
Albright.
Yeah, it was one of them. His boy in the media had made the comments about Ben, being interested, and then now for Kevin to get McCaskey to cut the check, like me and Scott both said it in the chat, we was like, oh shit, I did not expect them to spend the bread. Like that was one thing that was definitely going to lead me to thinking they were falling back into the same old Bears. But yeah, as Scott has said, you know, I'll finally fall back because I think it's officially Kevin Warren's show. I think, you know, this season was one of those moments where we saw George was still trying to hold on to the reins. And, you know, we're going to give Flus a shot. You know, he's talking the same old school Chicago BS. But finally, Kevin Warren got through to him and said, nah, bro, it's time to change this shit. Like, once again, if we're going to be a modern franchise, we have to do modern things. And so it was a situation where he finally got him to make that move. And so more so than Ryan Poles, because Ryan Poles still has fucked up a little bit. With Kevin Warren, I'm like, okay, bro, let me see what you do with this stadium, and then you officially he won't hear nothing negative from me.
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm